Wait, what did Biden just say? More money for the holidays? I have all the details and exactly what you need to know, as well as a clip of Biden speaking right here in the video. Let's get right into it. All right, now in this video, I do want to bring to your attention what President Biden just said the other day in regards to more money for the holidays. Now, I do want to clarify exactly what he said, and I do want to bring you a clip of him speaking so you can hear it right from him as well, where he was making these remarks about more money for the American people for the holidays. Not sure about you, but sounds pretty good to me. Sign me up. Let's get into it and talk about the details as well as clarifying exactly what he just said. Really fast before we do, thanks for joining me. If you have not done so yet, make sure to do yourself a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button right down below the video. It is totally free to do so, and I'm here for you right by your side every single day, watching the latest details hitting the wire, watching all the new announcements, and anything else popping up right now you can possibly grab and or take advantage of, including but not limited to money, benefits, raises to benefits, checks, programs, stimulus, anything else like that popping up right now. There's a lot of different things out there, especially focused on the low income and fixed income, where you can take advantage of that, including even right now, there are still programs out there as well. I also do want to continue advocating on your behalf as much as I possibly can. As we all know, it's a busy time and it's all about the low income and fixed income for the next several months, at least the next year alone. I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can be. Again, please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet so you don't miss any videos going forward. And let's get into it and talk about what did Biden just say? Yeah, I know. I had to listen to it a couple times myself because it sounds pretty intriguing when he's talking about more money for the American people for the holidays. And again, I don't really care if it's the holidays or not. Just get us more money. I mean, seriously, forget the holidays for a second. Just send some money. People are struggling right now. We shouldn't need to have the holidays as an excuse to get money for the American people, right? I don't know. That's just my opinion anyway. Especially with all this inflation and everything going on over the last couple of years here, it has been really tough, especially for the low income and fixed income. You know the story. We've talked about it before. We've talked about all the reports, the studies, all kinds of things that are going on right now. And that's, again, what's going on, why people are struggling so badly, which, by the way, interestingly enough, there was a report that came out a few weeks ago that shows that the American people are well over $1 trillion in credit card debt right now. In fact, the number as of a couple weeks ago was $1.08 trillion of credit card debt. That's a massive number and not a number that we should be proud of, right? So anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to bring in that clip right here, right now of Biden speaking. It's only about 38 seconds long, so it's honestly not that long, but he's talking about it. Listen to this. If you want to rewind it and listen to this again or even watch this video again, do it. Because seriously, when you hear him speaking, you're like, wait, I'm very intrigued here. I'm listening with all ears because it sounds pretty interesting, okay? So anyway, here's the clip of him, 38 seconds long. It's only, a very short amount of time. I will come back on the other side and we will explain the details about this and what does he really mean by this, because it could be very misleading based on what he's saying here and how this is being presented. Anyway, enough out of me for the next 38 seconds, and I'll catch you again in about 39 seconds. All right, here is Biden himself.
Wages for working families have gone up while inflation has come down 65%, giving families a little more money in their pockets and a little more breathing room for this holiday season. But we know the prices are still too high for too many things, that times are still too tough for too many families. But we made progress, but we have more work to do. Let me be clear. To any corporation that's not brought their prices back down, even as inflation has come down, even as supply chains have been rebuilt, it's time to stop the price gouging and give the American consumer a break.
All right, there's the clip of Biden himself saying this and exactly why I wanted to share this with you, because are you confused just as much as I was the first time that I heard that? He makes it sound very clear, like, wow, he wants to get us more money for the holidays, which he kind of does based on what he's saying right there, but let's clarify this clip here because it can be very confusing, and like I said before I showed you the clip, it can also be very misleading based on what he is saying right here because it sounds very good, like, wow, are you going to send us a check or something? Or like, what is going on here? But let's clarify all the details. And again, I had to listen to this clip a couple times because the first time I heard it, I thought, wait, what is he saying right now? I'm very excited, right? And then I listened to it a couple more times and I was like, oh, Okay, he's just blowing smoke again, right? So anyway, let's talk about the details of what he is saying here. So basically what he's saying is that he's given himself a big old pat on the back that he has brought inflation down by about 65%. Now, he did not mention that inflation is still up about 50% from where it is supposed to be. He didn't mention that part, but he did say that inflation has come down 65%. And again, I have not run the math on that to see if he's actually accurate about that or not, but let's just anticipate those numbers are probably not totally accurate just because that's how it usually works, right? But anyway, yes, to be fair, the numbers that they continue to deliver to us on a monthly basis as represented by the CPI, Consumer Price Index, yes, those have come down over the last couple years. It's taken years to get these numbers down, but okay, fine. The numbers have come down a little bit. Now, basically what he's saying is that prices are still elevated by 18%, because of consumer prices and all of this inflation. So what he's doing, he's calling on corporations. He's basically saying, hey, greedy corporations, if you're out there listening, which they're not, why would they be listening to this? They would have no reason to listen to that. But if they're listening, he's basically saying, hey, yo, greedy corporations, can you please bring your prices down so the American people have a little bit more money in their pocket for the holiday season? Again, number one, corporations are not listening because they don't care. It's all about margins and their profitability and things like that. And again, too, another thing that he's not taking into consideration, well, what has gone on with labor costs, material costs, supply costs, delivery costs, transportation, all the stuff like this, right? Is he taking all of this into consideration? Probably not. Let me ask you a quick question. Have you tried to hire anybody or buy anything lately? I'm sure you have. It's very expensive. The situation today is not what it was 2, 3, 4 years ago. It is nowhere close to that, okay? Labor costs are so incredibly expensive today. It is nuts. If you try to hire somebody, I hope you have a huge wad of cash laying around to pay that person because labor costs are very expensive. Supply costs, material costs, manufacturing, all stuff like this, it's very expensive. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm certainly not taking the sides of corporations. I'm not sure about you, but I am sick and tired of getting price gouged. Every time I turn around, I feel like, oh, they got me too. Yes, just what I wanted to have, well, I was going to say a naughty word. Sorry. I almost said it. I had to hold myself back, right? Sorry. My point is, it's just really annoying every time you turn around, just be like, oh, they just got a bunch of money out of me too. And for the same old thing that I could have bought literally like a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago for like 50% of that, right? So my point is, it's very frustrating. We're all very frustrated with this. And again, the president is basically just calling on corporations to lower their prices. But here's the thing. Corporations are in business to make money. Their profitability, right? They are in business for profit. They're not nonprofits, okay? So if corporations do not have their margins met, in other words, let's just say that they're selling a widget, which by the way, widget is just basically a generic word for basically describing anything, okay? So let's just say that a corporation is selling a widget and this widget costs $12 to make. Okay, it costs $12 to make and they retail it for say, I don't know, say $24 or something like that, right? So double what it would cost them to make. But let's just say that they sell it, wholesale to the retailer, maybe at, cost 12. Let's just say that they wholesale it at maybe $18 and it retails for 24. Again, I'm just kind of making up some numbers here. He's calling on them to bring their prices down. And again, like I said, they're still saying that prices are 18% higher than what they're supposed to be, right? So they're basically asking them to drop prices by 18%. So that's a lot. Let's just say, they would have to drop prices here in this situation by, call it, about $2.50 or about $2.40 roughly. Again, I'm just kind of roughly doing some math here. Well, it's actually more than that. Sorry, I apologize. It'd be about $5. Yeah, it'd be just less than $5, okay? So I'm just kind of roughly running some math here in my head as I talk. So they'd have to drop prices by about $5. This would mean that they'd have to sell that same widget for about $19. Well, guess what? The retailer is buying it wholesale as what? $18? They're going to make $1 a profit? Not happening. They're not doing that, right? This is no longer a profitable proposition for them. Do you think they're going to continue doing this? No. Why would they, right? It's not profitable. Businesses are there to make profit, to sell more stuff, to expand, to hire more people, right? So that's the whole point of it. So why would they do something for no profit? They're not going to, right? So for him to call on corporations to lower prices because basically all the bad policies that they implemented over the last couple of years have jacked up inflation and prices on everything, and now he's asking them to lower their prices? Okay, sorry, it's not happening. So the whole point of this speech here is dumb. It's worthless. It means nothing, okay? Even though he continues to come out and say, lower your prices. We need more money for the pockets of the people for the holidays. That's a great idea. That would help out a lot of people. But at the end of the day, it's going to do nothing. Corporations aren't listening. And why would they? Because they need to still make their margins, right? It still costs them a lot of money to produce the thing. So again, I just want to emphasize, I am not taking the sides of corporations whatsoever, okay? I'm just trying to explain this in a logical way. If you've been listening to the videos for a while now, I think through things very logically, okay? Not necessarily that I agree with things. I'm just saying, I think through stuff logically because it helps me better understand, like, okay, I don't like it, but again, logically, this is what makes sense to me, right? So anyway, this is what the president is talking about. Maybe you've seen the clip showing around, but I wanted to bring this to your attention so you can see what he's talking about here as far as more money in the pockets of the people for the holidays. But again, when you listen to it the first time around, you think, hey, that sounds pretty nice. That sounds like a familiar speech from maybe like a few years ago when they were issuing stimulus checks. Do you remember that actually? Back in, I think it was late 2020. Yeah, it was late 2020. Lawmakers were in the chambers and they were arguing and they were going back and forth and they were basically making up little stories about each other and like the holidays and we need money and stimulus and the Grinch and all kinds of stuff like this. It was actually kind of interesting. There's clips out there about it. There's no reason for me to share that because it was like, 3 years ago now, something like that. But anyway, my point is it sounded kind of similar to that when he first started out talking. So I was very intrigued at the beginning and then I realized, he's just calling on corporations to lower their prices. Which, quick side note, an article that I was just reading where it also encompassed this clip here showed that 81% of the American people right now disapprove of the economy and think that it is doing poorly or fair. 81%. That means that only 19% of people believe that the economy is doing anything better than fair or poor. That's bad. That's really bad reading right there. That's like a 19% approval rating. Just saying, okay? 81% of the people basically say the economy is terrible, right? So anyway, I don't know. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. Do you think the economy is great right now? Do you think everything is peachy and rosy and fields full of butterflies? Or do you think it's like not good stuff? I don't know. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. So anyway, hope this one helps you. Again, just want to come back, clarify this really quickly, and so you can hear it right there from him, what he said about this, more money for the American people, basically during the holidays. So interesting, right? Anyway, I'm here for you again. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends on social media. Go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel, including those that I have linked down below in the description. Otherwise, leave your comments, your questions, your feedback down below. Enjoy your day. Take care. Have a good one, and catch you again later in the next video.